In this lesson, I'll be showing you how to calculate compound interest. What is a compound interest? A compound interest is the addition of all the interest calculated from each year. It is also the overall total amount minus principal at first year. Mathematically, we can say that compound interest equals to I1 plus I2 plus I3 plus then to IN. The I1 stands for the interest at the first year, and the I2 stands for interest at the second year. The I3 stands for interest at the third year, and then this IN, the N stands for number of years. It means if your number of years is, say for instance, 7 years, that means you're going to calculate the interest from the first year to the 7th year, which you have I7 there. And then we also have another way of determining the compound interest, and compound interest can be A minus P. A stands for amount, P stands for principal, I stands for interest, N stands for number of years. In order to solve compound interest, we need to know the methods used. So the first method will look at successive addition of interest, and the second method is by using compound interest formula. Successive addition of interest simply means the addition of all the interest from the first year to the year that is stipulated for the business. Let's do the example 1. Find the compound interest on 450 naira in 4 years at 6% per annum. In this particular question 1, we are going to be making use of successive addition of interest. So we're going to calculate all the interest from the first year, second year, third year and fourth year. Since we are given 4 years here, so we'll calculate interest for the 4 years. So we start from the first year. At first year, so we're going to list out what we are given. We are given the principal to be 450. So this is the starting money, 450. And then at the first year, you know that since it's at the first year, that is only 1 year. So that means the time there will be 1 year. Then we are given the rate to be 6%, so our rate is 6%. So the next thing to do now is to apply the formula for simple interest, and that is I equals to P times T times R over 100. So let's fix in these values to this formula, and then we have I equals to 450 times 1 times 6 all over 100. Let's use our calculator to solve this. 450 multiplied by 1 times 6 equals to, enter, that's 2700 divided by 100. Press enter, equals to, that gives 27. So our I1, which is the interest at the first year, is 27 naira. So the next thing to do now is to apply the formula of amount. And amount, if you remember, amount equals to principal plus interest. So now we need to get the amount now. So all we need to do, the interest that we got for the first year, we add it to the principal, and then we have amount equals to 450 plus 27. Okay, then amount will equals to 477. So if you add it, you can use your calculator to check that out. So the next thing to do now will be this amount that we got last, which is 477. We now invest that amount into the second year. So as we invest it into the second year, that means 477 will now be our new principal. So at the second year, this value that we got here, will now be our principal at the second year. So our time now, since we are the second year, is still 1 year, so our time is still 1 year. Then we have the rate, we know the rate to be 6%. That means our I2 will be 477 times 1 times 6 all over 100, if you remember the formula. So our I2, that's the interest at the second year. The principal at this second year is 477 times our time is 1 year times 6, which is our rate over 100. So let's use our calculator to do this. 477 multiplied by, we don't need to, anything multiplied by 1 will give that same thing. So let's just say 477 times 6 equals to, enter, that gives us 2862. Then let's divide it by 100. Divide by 100 equals to, enter, that gives us 28.62. So that means our I2 will be 28.62 naira. So this is the interest for the second year. So the next thing to do now is to calculate the amount for the second year. If we follow this formula, A equals to P plus I. So that means what we get here, what the interest that we got for the second year, we're going to add it to the principal at the second year. So and then we have A equals to 477 plus 28.62. So let's use calculator to do that. 477 plus 28.62. Press equals to, enter. That gives us 505.62. So that means our amount will be 505.62 naira. Okay, having gotten this now, so this is our amount that we got for the second year. So what we need to do is to invest this amount at the third year. So investing this amount at the third year, this particular amount here will now become our new principal for the third year. So our principal is 505.62. Okay, you still remember that our time is 1 year and our rate is 6%. Since we are the third year now and it's only 1 year we're considering there, so our time there is 1 year, and then our rate is still 6%. So that means we have the formula I3. So for I3 now equals to, I3 is the interest at the third year, 505.62 times 1 times 6 over 100. You remember the formula. So we're fixing the value of P to the formula, the value of T and the value of R to the formula. Let's use calculator to do that. 505.62 multiplied by 6 equals to, enter. Then let's divide it by 100. Enter, equals to, so we have 30.3. So let's approximate it to 2 decimal place. So we're approximating to this 3 here. So if you approximate 7, 7 will give 1. 1 plus 3, that's 4. So we have 30.34. So our I3 is 30.34 naira. Okay, we've gotten the interest for the third year. So the next thing to do is to get the amount. So to get the amount, we also apply the formula A equals to P plus I. That means we need to add this interest to the principal at the third year. So we have A equals to 505.62 plus 30.34. Let's use calculator to do that. 505.62 plus 30.34. Enter, or equals to, that gives us 535.96. So our amount is 535.96. So this is the amount that we got for the at the third year. So all we need to do now is to invest this amount at the 4th year. So at the 4th year, this amount will become our new principal. So our principal at the 4th year is 535.96. So you remember that at the 4th year, our time will still be 1 year and our rate will still be 6%. So let's apply the formula. The interest here will be I4, and then we have I4 equals to 535.96 times 1 times 6 all over 100. Still we use this formula. Okay, then let's use our calculator to solve this. 535.96 multiplied by 6 equals to, then let's divide it by 100, then press enter or equals to, that gives 32.1576. so let's approximate it to 2 decimal place. So we are approximating it to this 5. So if you count after the decimal, 1, 2, that's 2 decimal place. So if you approximate the 6 to the 7, this 7 becomes 8. Approximate the 8 to this 5, and this 5 becomes 6. So we have 32.16. So our interest at the 4th year, I4, equals 32.16 naira. The next thing to do now is to get the amount at the 4th year. So the amount at the 4th year, we apply the same formula. A equals to P plus I. So our amount will be the addition of the principal at the 4th year and the interest that we got at the 4th year. So amount equals to 535.96 plus 32.16. So let's use our calculator to do that. 535.96 plus 32.16 equals to enter. That gives 568.12. So our amount is 568.12. This is the amount that we got for the 4th year. The time stipulated here is 4 years. So we are stopping at 4 years. So that means the next thing to do is now to calculate our compound interest. To calculate our compound interest, we need to add the interest at the 1st year, the interest at the 2nd year, the interest at the 3rd year, and the interest at the 4th year. So let's try to do that. Compound interest equals to I1 plus I2 plus I3 plus I4. So the CI stands for compound interest. So compound interest now equals to, we add the values now. I1 is 27, the I2 is 28.62, so we'll put that there, and I3 is 30.34 plus 30.34, and the I4 is 32.16, and this is it right here. So the next thing to do is to add this using our calculator. 27 plus 28.62 plus 30.34 plus 32.16 equals or enter. That gives 118.12. So our compound interest is 118.12. We can also calculate this using the formula, whereby the last amount that we got, we say this last amount minus the principal that we used for the first investment, and that is 450. So that means we have our compound interest can also be this value 568.12 minus 450. So this is the amount at the 4th year, and then this is the money we invested at the 1st year. So all we need to do is to subtract them. So let's see that 568.12 minus 450 equals or enter. That's to give us the same value, 118.12. So our compound interest there is 118.12 naira. So our final answer for compound interest is 118.12 naira.